Today, many across campus and around the world celebrate Day of the Dead. We tell you everything you need to know about the holiday.
The $8 billion merger that impacts America's rock and roller coast, creating an extensive amusement park central operator. How amusement parks are changing to keep up with the comeback of the entertainment industry.
And the Disney company has acquired stake from another corporation. We tell you what it is and the details of the deal. The
Trump family is facing tense questions surrounding a civil fraud trial. Hear the latest on what Eric Trump said at the defense table and more as TV2 News starts right now.
This is TV2 News.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Matt Corrali.
And I'm Sydney Brown.
Tonight we start with the celebration of Dia de los Muertos here at Kent State.
Yeah, our own Lex Radde is here in studio to recap the holiday today. Hi, Lex.
Hi, guys. Today marks the final night of Day of the Dead, and we asked those who are participating what they are celebrating and why.
With Halloween ending, others are still celebrating another holiday that honors deceased loved ones.
Dia de los Muertos is a holiday where you celebrate dead loved ones.
It celebrates the life. It's more so a celebration of the folks that were here that have passed. Rather than stressing the death part, it's more the life part.
Day of the Dead isn't just celebrated on one specific day, but instead spans over 3 days, starting on the eve of Halloween and ending on the eve of November 2nd.
It starts off in observance of your pets that have passed, and then it comes into the souls that were lost that don't really have someone that, so to say, claims them. And then it comes in by November 1st, you're seeing the arrival of the children, and then the arrival of the adults. And that's what our ofrendas are for, is to connect them and give them guidance as to where to come back.
In the homes of those who celebrate, tables can be found in rooms with multiple items that honor a loved one who has passed.
A lot of ofrendas, altars are built.
You have your friends and family who have died, and basically you can put water on there, you can put snacks, you can put even their favorite food, put candles, incense, and it's basically to celebrate the dead.
Day of the Dead provides people a way to honor their loved ones and remember what made them special.
I loved honoring my recently passing grandma and putting her favorite foods and stuff like that.
The holiday provides the people who celebrate it with spiritual connections to their families and friends and to remember the love that they shared.
The significance of it is spiritual. All of it is built around spirituality.
It's also a soul-to-soul exchange as well, because you may have known them in this life, but you'll know them in your next life, and you'll have that connection with them.
Tonight, make sure to keep your deceased loved ones in your hearts. For TV2 News, this is Lex Radde.
All right, Lex, thank you very much. And the Day of the Dead celebration continues, as hosting for the holiday are members of the Spanish and Latino Student Association here at Kent State. The celebration includes a vigil, face painting, and the painting of the rock that is located in the front of campus, with special guests from the University of Akron and Cleveland State University joining. The event will take place from 6:30 to 9 this evening and will start in the Student Multicultural Center.
Tonight, Sean Evans is heating up Kent State, Ohio, and we need it. The popular YouTube channel and viral video host of Hot Ones is in Kent tonight from 7 to 10 p.m. Students can join Evans in the hot seat, where the host typically interviews people while eating hot chicken wings that get progressively hotter in spice. Tickets are still available, and you can get one in the hot seat at Cartwright Hall, room 306, for the burning questions.
Good evening, Portage County. I'm your Thursday evening weather person, Michael Neenan, and you might be asking, what is the dew point right now? Let's take a look. Dew point is at 23 degrees. Well, currently in Kent, it's a little cloudy out. It's 43 degrees, but it feels like 38. Now the wind is traveling south to southwest at 8 miles an hour with humidity at around 44%. And I'm happy to report that there is a full visibility of 10 miles. Now, as we take a look at the temperatures going into tonight and tomorrow, at 8 p.m. it will be 39 degrees. It will be pretty cloudy. Thankfully, though, at midnight, even though it does drop a little bit to 36, it will actually be fairly clear. And hey, in the morning, even though it will drop again to 34 degrees, it will be pretty sunny, and thankfully there won't be a whole lot of clouds. Now, let's take a look at the weather for tonight and tomorrow. So just to recap a little bit, it'll be an average of 33 degrees, so potentially there could be some freeze warnings, but we'll see. It will be pretty clear. The sun will set at around 6:19 p.m. tonight. That's all I've got at the moment, but don't go away yet because we still have yet to take a look at the statewide temperatures. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Michael. Keep your hands and feet inside the coaster because two of America's biggest amusement parks are merging. Six Flags and Cedar Fair will now combine to oversee a total of 27 amusement parks and 15 water parks across the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, as amusement parks were falling behind the entertainment industry after the pandemic. Cedar Fair's flagship park is close to home in Sandusky, Ohio. Cedar Point is just a piece of a network of parks now in the $8 billion merger.
The Republican sponsor of Senate Bill 83 has removed a provision that would prevent employees from being able to strike, replacing it with a policy that education advocates say would decimate tenure. Senate Bill 83 is centered on what some Republicans consider free speech by banning public universities in Ohio from having bias in the classroom and limiting what controversial topics can really be taught.
The acts of hate at Cornell University that are carrying anti-Semitism beyond Israel and Hamas war. How the university is addressing the threats made to the Jewish community.
And if you're on a budget crunch this Thanksgiving, Target has you covered. How the top-selling retailer is looking to help folks this holiday.
The Agenda presents The Cheese-isode, Thursday, November 9th at 9 p.m. right here at KentWire.com. It's gonna be a good time.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with two buckles? What do you even need two buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth. Every day and every night. Now it's your parents' turn. Here's what you gotta do. Let them have your toothbrush so that they can brush your teeth. Good job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Help your teeth stay healthy. Brushy brush with a grown-up every day.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
Hey, did you know that 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Go to theshelterpetproject.org and search your local shelters and rescues. Go for a cuddle with your next best friend, a dog.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is TV2 News, truly Portage County.
Welcome back, everyone. It's now time to dive into our Consumer Watch segment as some of the top companies in America are making headlines today, Cindy.
That's right, but TV2's correspondent Dennis Farahani is here with the full report. Dennis?
Hi guys, that's right. There's a lot going on in the business world today with some major companies making big headlines. Starting off with Toyota. Toyota announced on Wednesday that over 1.8 million vehicles will be recalled because of a potential fire risk. The automaker said the risk is caused by replacement batteries, since some have incorrect dimensions, which would cause them to shake loose and start a fire if a sharp turn is made. The recalled vehicles range from model years 2013 through 2018, and those affected will be notified in December. If you want your food on time, you better tip your Dashers. DoorDash is testing a new warning message telling customers that orders with no tips may take longer to deliver. The company says drivers have the option to pick which orders they want to be picked up based on whether or not they think they are valuable. The message is just a test for now. Disney announced on Wednesday their plans to obtain Comcast's 33% share in Hulu. The company will be the sole owner of the streaming giant, meaning Disney will own Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus. The deal is expected to be $8.6 billion. CEO Bob Iger says his company might sell its ABC television division and seek a strategic partner for ESPN. This fits in with Disney's overall strategy of moving on from linear television to streaming. Disney's work continues to keep the magic alive in our hearts. I'm Dennis Farahani, and you're watching TV2 News.
Thank you, Dennis. Moving the conversation to your dinner table, we have a preview of your Thanksgiving shopping.
No doubt about it. CNN's Cole Higgins has a look at why the star of the holiday meal is seeing a shift in its price.
This year's Thanksgiving dinner is serving up some dramatic shifts when it comes to cost. Wholesale prices for turkey fell 29% in October compared to a year ago. That's according to Wells Fargo's new Thanksgiving report. The forecast is welcome news for turkey farmers and marks a major shift from last year when a wave of avian flu took out birds, leaving some farms struggling to keep up with demand, which led to higher store prices. This 2023, the Wells Fargo Agri-Food Institute says farms added 2% to 3% additional birds, and that robust supply plus a drop in the cost of refrigerated trucks to move supply from farm to store are contributing to the price drop. But get ready for some sticker shock because the rest of the meal will cost you more.
Everything else around it, all those side dishes, choose to spend wisely and shop wisely where you can.
According to the Wells Fargo forecast, canned cranberries cost almost 60% more compared to the same time last year. So opt for fresh cranberries instead, which cost about 20% less compared to last year. And right now, production costs for canned pumpkin are 30% higher this year from last year. Russet potato prices are at an all-time high, with prices up 14% from a year ago. So consider going for sweet potatoes instead. Store prices are only up about 4%. To trim costs, experts recommend scaling back.
Do you really need all that stuff? Who is actually eating this? Do we have a dish that maybe only gets 2 or 3 bites? Scrap it.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Cole Higgins.
As for Target, you can find a Thanksgiving meal deal for $25. The meal service and includes a 10-pound turkey, potatoes, green beans, cranberry sauce, stuffing mix, and gravy. What more do you need? But Target isn't the only chain lowering rates for the turkey holiday. Walmart is also offering seasonal feast options through a Target cook from scratch feast or a ready-to-bake option, while Aldi is lowering the price of over 70 items by 50%.
Welcome back. The statewide temperatures don't predict themselves, so let's take a look at the weather around Northeast Ohio, because going from west to east on the lake in Sandusky, it is 49 degrees. Going south towards Mansfield is 47, same with Worcester and Canton. On the lake, Cleveland is 48 degrees with Kent and Youngstown at 46 degrees, and Ashtabula is actually at 47 degrees. Now let's take a look at the temperatures across all of the Buckeye State going from west to east. Once again, Lima is at 51 degrees, Dayton is at 52, Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky are at 53, Columbus is at 51 degrees, and down in Athens, it's getting pretty cold there at 50 degrees. Akron is at 46, and Steubenville is at 47. Now let's take a look at the 7-day forecast. Now, looking at tomorrow, it's going to be around 55 degrees, the low of 42. It will be pretty cloudy. It's really the same story for the weekend. Saturday and Sunday will be cloudy, especially on Saturday, and there will be a low in the 40s. Now, as we go into next week, well, it's going to be a lot of rain, and although it will be 61 degrees on Monday, it will lower even into the 40s next Thursday. And yes, it will be raining quite a lot. I would suggest wearing layers and especially waterproof stuff because it will be raining quite a lot next week, as you can tell, but it's all the time I have time for today. Be sure to check KentWire.com for any severe weather updates. I've been Michael Neenan. Let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Michael. In court Thursday, Eric Trump had a tense exchange over knowledge of his father's financial statements during the civil fraud trial against him, his family, and their company.
If we were actually dealing with logic and reason, the way business is conducted, but unfortunately the Attorney General has brought forth a case that is purely a political persecution.
Eric testified that he was not personally aware of the financial statements until the investigation from the Attorney General started a few years ago. The Assistant Attorney General then brought up a series of emails dating as far back as 2010 and a phone conversation to argue that Trump was in fact familiar with the statements that Eric later admitted to having knowledge of.
Republican George Santos survived a vote that would have expelled him from the House Wednesday. Many Republicans and 31 Democrats opted to withhold punishment while both his criminal trial and a House Ethics Committee investigation proceed.
I'm not claiming a victory. I'm just saying that this is a victory for the process. Due process won today, not George Santos. I'm not resigning because I was duly elected. And as far as, unless you're the ultimate end-all be-all arbitrator of truth, then I'm not debating this in the press with you.
Now, there have been many questionable aspects about Santos that were brought to life while he has been in the public eye. Some of those aspects include him fabricating his life story, stealing from donors, and lying to Congress. The resolution failed to gain the required 2/3 vote as supporters could not get a simple majority. The final vote turned out to be 179 for expulsion and 213 against.
The Justice Department is taking action for school safety. The DOJ announced more than $334 million in grants will go to the communities across the United States to help improve security. The money will help law enforcement agencies hire more than 1,700 new officers specifically for schools. It will also provide critical funding to support crisis intervention teams, de-escalation training, and to continue to advance community policing nationwide.
As the war between Israel and Hamas escalates, so are anti-Semitic tensions. Acts of hatred towards Jews found on social media posts and vandalism have intensified to, quote, historic levels, according to FBI Director Christopher Wray.
Seeing general anti-Semitic sentiment and things like that, but to have not only a direct threat, but a direct threat to a building that I personally go to and eat at and see friends at, like, that was really scary.
And that has Jewish communities in the U.S. and elsewhere rattled and concerned about the future. Cornell University canceled its classes for Friday following the arrest of 21-year-old junior Patrick Day. He's now accused of allegedly posting online messages that include calling for the death of Jewish people and threatening to shoot up a kosher dining hall on campus.
You know him, you love him. Jose Ramirez is up for the American League Silver Slugger. We have all the updates and what it means for the Cleveland Guardians.
And later on sports, the Cavaliers had a low-scoring affair against the New York Knicks last night. Find out who came out on top on your TV2 Sports Report.
Now, I'm sure many of you know in Northeast Ohio this, but Cleveland Guardians third baseman Jose Ramirez is one of the best players in baseball, and once again, Cindy, he is being honored for his efforts.
This is just awesome. Ramirez was named a finalist for the American League Silver Slugger as a third baseman position, and he is looking to take home the award as the best hitting third baseman for the AL for the 5th time in his career. The winner for this award is going to be announced soon,
Very
right?
exciting.
Right
Very
now.
exciting
But this
stuff.
is so fun. But Dom O'Brien, I think you have some insight about just how awesome this is.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's been phenomenal. I mean, we love to see Jose and how well he's doing on the Guardians, but right now we're going to take a look at what's been happening in the Kent State local scene because something quite special happened a few hours ago. The Kent State Golden Flashes women's soccer team took down the Western Michigan Broncos in the MAC tournament semifinals 2-1. Alyssa Arthur and Callie Cunningham both scored goals in the first half to put the Golden Flashes ahead. They now look to play Ohio University in the MAC tournament finals. This takes place back in Kalamazoo, Michigan, on Sunday, November 5th at 1:00 p.m. Now moving on to football. Last night commenced the 65th overall football matchup between the Akron Zips and the Kent State Golden Flashes. Golden Flashes were up 27-10 at the top of the fourth quarter when the Zips scored 21 unanswered points. This snaps Kent State's 4-game win streak against Akron, and their all-time record rests at 36-28-2, with Akron still ahead. 4 members of the Kent State field hockey team were awarded postseason honors this week. To highlight the group, Ava Usov won Freshman of the Year after leading the team in goals and points. Usov, alongside Iris Becker and Patricia Strunk, won All-MAC First Team selection, while Usov and Maybrit Duell were awarded All-MAC Freshman Team selection. Now we're going to move over to basketball. The Cavs trying to come back and get a win against the Knicks after losing to them last night. And for the first part of this, it's just a Donovan Mitchell highlight reel. He had 30 points in the game. 19 points off the bench came from Caris LeVert. Mitchell had 20 points with 7 minutes left in the second, and he just kept on cooking. Caris LeVert here looking for a 3 to extend the lead to 87-79, but the Cavs came out on top 95-89 with the final. And don't forget, later tonight, the Pittsburgh Steelers are hosting the Tennessee Titans on Thursday Night Football. It will be interesting to see what rookie quarterback Will Levis can brew in his first start in the NFL. He had a great showing in his 4-touchdown game against the Falcons, but a true test awaits him in Pittsburgh, where Cam Hayward will have his first game back since Week 1, where he obtained a groin injury. Now, whether you're a fan of sports in Portage County or you enjoy Ohio athletics in general, we thank you all for watching this TV2 Sports Report. I've been Dom O'Brien, and back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you so much, my friend. The Beatles have put out their last song ever thanks to modern-day technology. We tell you how they did so and what to expect from the new track. The last song the Beatles ever recorded was released on Thursday, decades after John Lennon wrote it and more than 50 years after the band split. Lennon recorded a demo of his vocals for the song titled Now and Then in the late 70s. After he was killed in 1980, the track was then worked on by Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison for a year, but they couldn't separate Lennon's voice from the sound of a piano in the track.
Welcome back to the Capitol. A new clip from The Hunger Games, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is growing the fervor surrounding the fan-favorite series. The prequel follows Cornelius Snow, the antagonist in the original Hunger Games films, but as the ambitious 18-year-old version. But a new update today from the film is the new track from the rising pop star Olivia Rodrigo, who wrote Can't Catch Me Now specifically for the franchise. A wish for fans for the Hunger Games and of Olivia Rodrigo fans for the film to be ever in your favor.
Very nice. Well, Mike and Dom are back on the desk. Any preference on the Hunger Games, the Beatles? Are you going to be watching or listening to any of that, fellas?
I mean, I already have listened to the Beatles a lot, like in the past, because my uncle was a big fan of them, so I was kind of not forced into it, but like I was kind of morphed into a Beatles fan. So definitely going to listen to. Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to that, 100%.
Danny, real quick, real fast thoughts on that?
Yeah, you know, I like the Beatles. I'm more of a Rolling Stones guy, but you know, I still think the Beatles are pretty good. I definitely will be listening to that song. You know, I think it is pretty important. And hey, I mean, Beatles are a good band. You know,
there you go.
You know, I mean, it's not like we hear about them all the time.
That's true. Well, that's all the time we have for tonight.
Thank you so much for joining us.
For updates on all these stories and more, visit our website at kentwired.com.
And follow us across social media at Kent Wired. I'm Dom O'Brien.
I'm Michael Neenan.
I'm Sydney Brown.
And I'm Matt Caroli. Have a great night, Portage County.
This is Portage County's TV2, broadcasting from the campus of Kent State University. Streaming online at kentwired.com.